I think I've just seen some spoilers.
Yeah, probably. I didn't even look at the pictures. I don't know.
There was new characters that I haven't seen before.
That's alright. You've already seen the background. That's whatever. It's
The Final Fantasy characters.
12 a.m. You're gonna fall asleep.
Probably.
You bet on that. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while.
It's been a while, and I'm a little bit scared of the voices because of the last time we recorded.
Yeah, you're gonna step your game up.
I know.
Natsuhi and Beatrice combining. So we, I think, have been introduced to 2 years prior with Kraus, Natsuhi, Kinzo's death, and we're now getting back to the game board. So it should be the family conference year. I think that's where we're up to. We'll find out.
Creek.
Yep.
1986. Oh no.
No, we're on the island. Oh, I've forgotten my voices too. How long has it been?
This has been a very long time since in between recording sessions.
Yeah. It's been at least
a month.
4 weeks.
It's been at least a month.
Yeah. Because I'm on uni break now. Alright. This rose garden really is a masterpiece. It's gotten even more awesome than it was 6 years ago. You're so lucky to have it as your yard.
Are you kidding? For me, it just makes it a longer walk to the harbour, and that's a real pain.
That's a pretty luxurious worry.
Ooh. Getting to say hi to the roses every morning must be awesome. You must get late after saying hi to so many roses. Shame about Angie though. I hear her stomach gets upset easily, right?
Apparently. It's probably her intestines that are weak. She's almost always got the runs. Well.
Ooh. You shouldn't say something like that about a lady.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot. Nothing comes out of a girl's butt but marshmallows, right? So, Angie got sick, and then the marshmallows turned into syrup.
Ah, that is a horrible visual. Okay, that's really...
way over the line. George and Jessica slammed a knee and fist right into either side of Battler's gut. Whack, smack, thud. The smack thud was probably the sound made when his knees hit the ground as he fell over. Normally, Battler possessed the good sense you'd expect of an 18-year-old man. However, it seemed that this reunion had brought him back to the mental age he'd been 6 years ago.
I don't know if I can see Battler as a man.
What do you mean? He's...
doesn't have that level of maturity.
That's what it means to be a man. And bit by bit, Jessica and George realized they were also returning to the way they'd been back then. Natsuhi gazed at this charming chat through an open window in the hall. Madam, the Cross Summer is searching for you.
Oh, I'll just go in just a bit. It isn't even lunchtime yet, and I'm already tired.
Just a few moments ago, the sparks had already started flying between them and Ava's group. The others had pounded on Kraus and Natsuhi over and over to get Kinzo out of his study. Apparently, they hadn't been fully tricked at last year's family conference after all.
There are no problems with Father, right?
Correct. Leave it to me. Shannon and Cannon are also fully prepared to handle today's arrangements.
Kumasawa is a good liar, so I'm not worried about her.
but I am a little concerned about Dr. Nacho. I get the feeling he's bad at hiding things.
Leave that to me. I intend to support Dr. Najo from nearby as much as possible.
It's so reassuring to have you here and there. It truly does help a lot. Without your strength, we wouldn't be able to succeed.
I am honored by your words. One thing I think we had that you've probably forgotten, I just remembered. There was the phone call. Do you remember? Natsuhi got a phone call from
An unknown person.
an unknown person that was claiming to be her child.
Yeah.
And they were like trolling her.
Don't worry. The closed room barrier on the study is perfect. As long as the barrier remains unbroken, no one will be able to expose Kinzo's secret. Yes, I understand. Still, you heard the conversation in the parlor just now, didn't you? Indeed. It seems that some considerable suspicions were aroused last year. The terrible toxin has accumulated and is being spread all around. It seems this year's conference really will be crucial. We might be able to overcome this year somehow, but there is such a thing as pushing our luck. It's probably best to assume that next year won't be manageable.
With this much of the magic-resisting toxin filling up the place, it will probably be difficult to preserve Lord Goldsmith's magic for yet another family conference.
Oh, why you? Oh, no need to be surprised. This man serves as my head furniture.
Greetings, Madam Natsuhi. My name is Ronove. It is a pleasure to meet you.
This man's reliable. He's also helping to protect the closed room barrier. Is that so? I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I thank you for your cooperation.
Of course, Madame. I will be aiding you from the magic world. Please rely on me.
In that case, I guess I'll introduce myself next. Hi, Rita. Long time no see.
Ah, Garp. I'm glad to see you're here as well.
Oh no.
What?
I'm gonna get into character in my head. I wasn't prepared for Garp today. Well, I only came to have some fun. If you need an extra hand, let me know. Nice to meet you, madam. This is the first time I've said hello, but I'll always be right by anyone's... Sorry, can I do that again? Oh my goodness. Well, I only came to have some fun. If you need an extra hand, let me know. Nice to meet you, madam. This is the first time I've said hello, but I'm always right by anyone's side.
Garp here is quite the prankster. Remember that headache medicine you dropped on the floor of your room and lost as you were getting dressed? Garp was the one behind that.
Whenever you set something small down somewhere but can't find it later, it's always a good idea to suspect that it's one of her pranks. Long ago, she used to tease me all the time.
You know, one time I can think of, I lost my Digimon for like a week. I was looking for it everywhere, like the Tamagotchi Digimon.
Yeah.
And I think I had a friend over. We were looking in the fridge and it was in there. He was just like, "Hey, that's your Digimon." I was like, "What the heck? It's in the fridge."
Did you put it in the fridge and, forget it was there?
I don't know why I would put it in the fridge.
Well, if you
I
open the
guess.
fridge and put it down,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Or, I don't know. Maybe I was being pranked by Garp.
Is that so? In any event, this is the Ushiromiya mansion. As long as you are here, you will obey us. You understand, correct?
Of course, we understand. Think of me as a Genji of the magic world.
I know it.
And give me orders whenever you wish.
And even I know how a guest is supposed to act. I won't let the landlord lose face.
You can count on Renove and Garp. However, the magic world and the human world are two different sides of the same coin. I understand. Of course, I will do all I can in the human world. Let's work together and protect Father's secret. Indeed.
Is it going to be like this for the rest of the, remaining episodes? Am I going to be in Struggleville with these, vocal interactions?
This happens every time. Looks like we won't get anywhere until the next day.
Well, sure. October 4th is like a prep turn for me. If you don't feel like doing anything, why don't you just sit around until October 5th? I'll call you after the first 6 die.
Of course, that was an incredibly irritating way to put it. The fight won't start until the crime occurs. However, waiting for the crimes to start would mean turning a blind eye towards the murders of the first Twilight. In other words, it would be the same as being content with the fact that 6 people would die. Did you know? They say that in chess, the player who moves first is twice as likely to win. I lost all my games and I was white.
Although that can change as the tactics of the match progress. Don't they say the second player has as much better chance at a draw?
Even I know the phrase, the first to strike wins. So, what are you trying to say?
This is why you're so incompetent.
Seriously, are you listening, Battler? There do exist puzzles that can be solved even on October 4th. Know which one I mean?
The closed room puzzle?
The closed room puzzles on the first.
They're talking about a closed room before. What? Aren't we on day 1?
Closed room is a murder. Well, it doesn't have to be technically, but usually. You don't mean... No, but... Surely you can...
She's gonna have a different voice every time. Well, watch and see, Battler the incompetent.
I can't laugh. Can't fake laugh. I have a general idea what these witches are talking about. I've tried solving it several times myself in the past, but I still haven't found anything resembling an answer.
The epitaph?
That's one, I guess. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I've got a different one in mind. On the contrary, I still can't even understand why that puzzle exists. That's right. The reason it exists. Why did Beato prepare a puzzle like this in the first place? We all discussed it together from time to time in past games. However, I've started to avoid thinking about it, under the assumption that there's no point in trying to solve a riddle that can't be solved. This time, I should change my viewpoint. I shouldn't just focus on the surface level stuff, like the truth of the riddle and how to solve it. What's more important is why that riddle was set up in the first place and displayed for us to see. That's what I should be thinking about. And the one proposing that riddle is Beatrice. Even if I can't solve it, I should be able to try and figure out what Beato was thinking when she showed it to us. Okay, this time, I'm spinning the chessboard around.
As if he hasn't been doing that the whole other times.
He hasn't been trying. The witches keep calling me incompetent. Let them laugh. They aren't my enemies. I'm continuing our match, Beato. No, I don't even know what they're talking about. It's either the epitaph or something else.
Well, they just said why the epitaph was created.
Why the puzzle was created. They
Yeah.
didn't say what the puzzle was.
I thought the puzzle was the epitaph.
There's another one. Oh! Looks like it's finally starting raining. Dang. Wish the only downpour was the one inside my heart. The people in the parlor noticed the raindrops that were starting to drip down the window. It's Kitty A.
I know, I'm trying to remember the voices.
Here's the easy voice.
Now we have nowhere to run until the family conference ends. The same goes for Nissan. I won't let them escape, you can be sure of that. The cards we're holding aren't bad.
4 pieces of Exodia.
Nissan's just bluffing. I'll make certain he surrenders.
Well, there's more to a deal than making your opponent lose. You've got to get a pitfall ready, praise them a bit, and convince them to stand on top of it on their own accord.
You buy the pitfall seeds, then you dig a hole. You wait for your villager to fall in the hole.
What was his name? The eagle that I wanted to get rid of for ages.
Was it Roman?
I don't remember.
No.
That's Kirie.
Oh, Hideyoshi sounds right. We pressed the button too soon. We pressed them a bit too hard last time, Avane-san. That was perfectly reasonable considering it's Nissan we're dealing with.
Looks like Rose has fallen asleep.
She was complaining about how early she woke up this morning. Well, guess there's nothing wrong with taking a nap.
There's a chance we might be forced to spend all night on this. Getting a nap in now is probably a smart idea.
No, hold off the napping.
Out of consideration for Rosa, who'd fallen asleep on a sofa, the others quietly left the parlour. Pretty sure this is the puzzle they're talking about. Unaware of this, Rosa slept. After telling Maria to just stay where she was after that tantrum.
Who was it that gave the umbrella to
Who
me?
gave her
Was
the
that what you
umbrella?
were thinking
Yeah.
of? Okay.
After that tantrum, over not being able to find her Rose, Rosa slept, unaware that the rain had started to fall. The rain poured down as though it had been saving up for this moment. Of course, Maria noticed that the rain had started falling and was soaking her to the bone. However, that just made her even more stubborn. Unable to find the poor, slightly unhealthy Rose that she herself had marked, she just couldn't stand having that search be interrupted by something like the rain. So the more the rain fell on Maria, the more stubborn she grew, as she wandered through the rose beds. And as she did, from behind Maria's back came a patter, patter. The sound of approaching footsteps. Then the footsteps landed in a puddle, making a small splashing sound, and Maria finally heard. However, even the slight distraction of that sound irritated her, and Maria ignored it. Hello. Maria turned around, bewildered. After all, that voice was one she didn't recognize at all. On this sealed-off Rikenjima, that voice belonged to no one, no person she knew.
Person X. Do we finally have them revealed?
Kraus-sama, madam, I was looking for you. Something important has come up. Kraus and Natsuhi had been privately discussing what should be done next in a deserted corridor on the 3rd floor. Genji had searched everywhere for them. What is it? It must be something more urgent than a few sheets getting soaked in the rain.
What is it? Has some sort of blunder been made?
A short while ago, someone arrived at the mansion, claiming to have drifted here after an accident at sea. Kraus and Natsuhi couldn't help but go wide-eyed and stare at each other. This was the first time they'd ever heard of someone coming to this island uninvited. Probably... no, it might be Kraus. Someone drifted here. Is that true? Poor thing. Treat this person politely, like a guest. What are they doing now? Dr. Najo is performing an examination. He hasn't finished yet, but from what I could tell by looking, the drifter seemed tired but uninjured. Thank goodness. Natsuhi and I are having an important conversation right now. When it's over, we will go to check on this in person, or check on this person. Please, tell this drifter that we want them to feel at home. Certainly. When Genji bowed deeply and started to leave, Natsuhi called him to a stop. Genji stopped walking and Natsuhi jogged up to him.
Genji, is this drifter a man?
No, she is a young woman, about the same age as Milady.
A woman? I see. Very well, back to your work.
Because the voice on the phone was like a young male, she said. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
So she was worried it would be that guy, I guess.
The parlour of the mansion was bustling. The adults gathered, worrying about the health of this sudden guest.
Well, if she was able to walk all the way to the rose garden by herself, her life probably isn't in danger.
It always helps to be prepared. It's probably all thanks to that life jacket. Without that, she might have drowned.
What kind of girl was she? Older or younger than George or Jessica? She was younger than Jessica. She wore a life jacket and swimsuit. It looked like she was all tired out.
If she was washed up somewhere near the harbour, that must have been a rare but bit of luck amid disaster. It would have been terrible if she'd landed on the opposite side of the island.
Still, you have to feel sorry for her. With this weather, the boats won't be coming. I imagine she'll also be stuck on this island all day tomorrow.
At that moment, the door clunked open and everyone looked in that direction. Oh, who was Goda? Was that me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Would anyone like some tea? It was Goda and Cannon, with the latter pushing a serving cart laden with the tea set. Goda understood well that doing a little extra at times like this would earn him points. The relatives, hungry for information, crowded around Goda. He ordered Cannon to serve the tea and became the sole object of the relatives' attention. Goda-san, how's that kid doing? Does it look like she's okay? Well, I don't know about that, but there is no need to worry. Dr. Nanjo is giving his full attention to taking care of her, and Kumasawa and Shannon are with him.
Him?
With Nanjo.
Ah.
Please have no fears. Why not relax with some black tea for now? Come, Cannon-san. Quickly, quickly, serve it, serve it. Cannon knew this tea was just Goda's way of earning points, so he lined the cups up with a slightly sullen air.
Ooh, I'll help too.
It's okay. You can just wait there, Maria-sama.
Ooh, I want to serve tea too.
Didn't you talk with Dr. Nanjo? Did he say anything?
Yes, when I met him a short while ago, he said that there weren't any serious external wounds, from what I could tell at a glance.
And, just as Goda had successfully captured the gazes of all present and was about to start talking knowledgeably on the subject, Nanjo returned.
Excellent job, Nanjo.
Of course, Nanjo instantly became the center of attention. Cannon turned his back on Goda. He seemed downhearted.
I want to see his downhearted face.
Oh, Goda.
Dr. Nanjo, how is her condition? Does it look like she'll be okay? Not to worry, everyone. She is fine. My voice is not though and my throat is sore.
That's definitely Nanjo right there.
She had no injuries at all. She seems to be quite worn out, but there shouldn't be anything to worry about tonight, as long as she doesn't develop a fever.
That's good to hear. We're lucky enough to have a doctor, but this is no hospital.
Everyone was relieved to hear that the girl was in a good health. When Nanjo gave the more detailed results of his examination, concluding by saying that she was young and should therefore be fine, everyone who no longer fell under this description nodded in assent.
Ooh, boats really are scary. Bella was right.
Marie-chan, let's not tell Batlakun about this.
Oh, madam! Kraus-sama! Goda, who had lost his nerve and was handing out cups, called out in an excessively loud voice. Apparently, he was that desperate to get everyone's attention. How is the guest? Yes, sir. Her condition is not serious.
I see, that's great. Where is she now? I I believe Kumasawa-san and Shunin-san were guiding her to the bath. They said they would get her some clothes afterwards.
In that case, they'll probably arrive here soon. Everyone, this may be the day of the family conference, but we have a guest brought here by an unfortunate accident. She wasn't invited, but I want you all to welcome her.
Who could disagree with that? I'm all for it.
Same here. Didn't Mum always tell us to be nice to girls?
Maybe, but you didn't need to make that your life's motto.
It's probably best if we call George and the rest over here too. Let's all greet her together.
But wouldn't that just make her more uncomfortable?
Ava stood up and made a phone call to the guest house. At that moment, they heard the sound of a knock, followed by Genji's voice. It is Genji. The guest has arrived. At those words, everyone fell silent, and the people who had been sitting stood up straight. Genji came in first, opening the door slowly, then moved off to the side, bowing deeply and urging the guest forwards.
Here she is.
I still haven't practiced a voice. The guest had Shannon and Kumasawa following by her side, and even after seeing the large number of relatives waiting for her in the parlor, she didn't seem overawed in the slightest. Just this single point showed that this girl possessed a dignity appropriate for a guest invited in by the Ushiramiya family. Is this Genji or is this... Okay. Furudo-sama, allow me to introduce you. This is the representative of the Ushiramiya family head, Ushiramiya Kraus. I'm trying to do that role. Welcome to Rikkenjima. Though you arrived due to an accident, you are a guest of the family. We welcome you. Please, make yourself at home and relax however you please.
Thank you very much. Allow me to introduce myself. I am called Furudo Erika. My deepest apologies for disturbing you members of the Ushiramiya family like this. I'm truly grateful for the warm welcome I've received despite my status as an uninvited guest.
This was greeted by an impressed sigh, arising equally from all corners of the room. The clothes she had been lent were probably Jessica's formal wear from long ago, but the composure of her introduction didn't shame those clothes in the slightest. The girl's name was Furudo Erika. She looked slightly younger than Battler and Jessica, but her composure and mannerisms were beyond what anyone would have expected from a high schooler, almost as though she was a well-to-do family's daughter.
Wait a sec. Who the heck is this? With an incompetent like you as the main character piece, the game wouldn't go anywhere. That's why I placed myself there as a piece.
Well, it's just a bit of a bonus. Even in a closed circle, it'd get boring to see the same crew every single time, right?
Quit messing around. This piece doesn't exist on Beato's game board. Beato and I won't acknowledge it.
This is Beato's game board, right? If Beato refuses, then I'll consider it. What do you say, Beato?
Beato was unable to answer. Lambda Delta grinned triumphantly.
Wanna try complaining about the rules and stepping down from the game? Isn't that a favorite move of you mystery people? If there's even a tiny element that goes against your expectations, you throw a tantrum and totally stop thinking.
Don't worry. I'll make a detective proclamation regarding this piece. A detective proclamation? I proclaim that Furudo Erika is the detective. The detective isn't a culprit. No proof is needed to show this. In short, there is absolutely no need to suspect this girl. Even if she appears as a human piece from now on, you can build theories the same as you always did, get it?
That's Nox's 7th, right? It is forbidden for the detective to be the culprit. There was an exception clause in the original, but for this game, the detective isn't a culprit, has been proclaimed and read, so you don't need to consider the exception. I hate word games, so I'll say this in red too. Fururo Erika is not the culprit. What?
I'm just trying to understand it. She says there was an exception clause in the original, but for this game the detective isn't the culprit. What is the original just talking about?
I would say... It's one of two things. It's either the original to do with Nox's 7th. Is Nox's, like, rules a real thing? Or is
Yeah.
This, yeah. So it's either to do with that, or potentially the original could be like Beato's game board.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Minus the witch's interference. But then I feel like our detective is Battler, wouldn't it? It'd be
Well,
Battler.
At least for this game, we've got to confirm that we have a different detective.
Yeah, that's true.
Repeat it. Furudo Erika had no influence on any of Beato's game boards before now.
Sure, no prob. Fururo Erika had no influence on any of Beato's games before now. She's nothing more than an extra character who appears for the first time this round. She does not exist in the worlds before this one, nor does she influence them.
So, what does that do to the number of people on this island right now?
Of course it's +1 from the previous number. But don't worry, Fururo Erika is only... Oh, Fururo Erika...
Just
It's
say
the Fururo...
just say it with a Western R. Furudo.
Fururo Erika only increases it by one person. Besides her, the number of people on this island is exactly the same as it was in the previous games.
At that time, the sound of people dashing down a corridor could be heard. It was Battler, George, and Jessica who had come from the guest house after being called here by Ava. They immediately spotted a guest they didn't recognize, and their eyes went wide.
Whoa! Who are you?
Ooh, I guessed she came here by falling.
Huh? Full? Genji-san, who is this person?
This is a guest, Furudo Erika-sama. Furudo-sama. This is the daughter of the family, Jessica-sama, along with her cousins, George-sama and Battler-sama.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ushiomiya Jessica.
Hello. My name is Furudo Erika. I am very pleased to meet you.
Though Battler, George, and Jessica didn't have a clue what was going on and were utterly bewildered, they each introduced themselves.
Isn't that convenient? This way the number of people is clear. The people in the guest house have joined up with the rest, and now, all of the pieces except for Kinzo, all of the humans, have gathered in the parlor.
Looks like it. In other words, the number of people in this parlor now is equal to the total number of people on this island.
There were supposedly 18 people on the island, but since Grandfather's actually dead, that became 17. And now one piece of bone castells has been added. The number of humans on this island has returned to 18. I glanced around at the humans in the parlor. The guest, Furudo Erika, and behind her, Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan. Off to the side was Genji-san. Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsuhi were welcoming the guests. Goda-san immediately started showing off, and Kanon-kun was being unsociable, wearing his usual blank expression. There was Dad and Kirie-san, Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, Aunt Rosa and Maria, and Dr. Najo. Then, on either side of me, were George Aniki and Jessica. This is everyone, the true number of people on the island at the moment. Well, all of us are Rushiromias. Please don't feel obligated to call us by our family name. I'm George. And I'm Battler. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. George-san, Battler-san. I'd be pleased if you would call me Erika.
Nice to meet you, Erika-san.
My bad. It was decided that Erika would be welcomed like a guest, and allowed to borrow the bedroom next to the cousin room on the second floor of the guest house. In front of all the relatives, she had seemed dignified and a bit stiff. However, as she talked with George and Jessica, her expression began to soften gradually. And so, the detective, Furuta Erika, was placed on the game board. How many times have we heard the word detective?
Wasn't counting.
I'm surprised Jessica's old clothes suit her so well.
Kumasawa made the decision on her own to use Milady's old clothes. Please forgive her. The clothes Erika wore were Jessica's old formal attire. Though the guest possessed a dignity that would put most adults to shame, her body was still physically similar to a middle schooler's. Jessica's old clothes fit her perfectly.
Not to worry. They match this guest perfectly. If she likes them, we might even let her keep them as a sign of friendship.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
Have you contacted the police and her family?
Yes, they seem to have been quite distressed.
So the phone line's still working despite the storm.
They go out, after the first twilight, I think.
Okay. Who's this?
Probably not. So he... Yeah.
By the way, our guest really was involved in an accident, right?
She herself said she fell from a boat as it was returning to port.
Is there anything to back up that claim?
I checked with the Coast Guard. It seems she fell from the rear of a pleasure boat, unnoticed by the others on board. We don't know the exact location she fell from, but it was probably somewhere near this island.
It was foolish to play on a boat with such a bad weather forecast. However, is it really conceivable that she nearly drowned in the nearby waters and drifted to this island?
It is not impossible. Tales of drifters washing ashore exist in several of the islands around this area. I believe it likely that an accident occurred. We're in the middle of a typhoon. It would not be possible to land a boat anywhere on this island. Genji had already considered what she now suspected. Natsuhi probably suspected that this mysterious guest who had arrived during the already high-stress family conference might be the agent of some conspiracy. So, Genji had already checked to make sure that the accident was real, that Furuta Erika was her real name, and that there was nothing suspicious going on.
I understand. My husband has ordered that she be politely entertained. Make sure that there are no blunders. However, you do understand, don't you?
Yes. I won't let her anywhere near the family conference. After dinner, I will see that she retires to the guest house.
Make sure they don't start trying to force us to let her meet father or anything like that.
Of course. I will keep that in mind.
Oh, Furuta Erika, was it? It's rare for guests to come here to Rukenjima. Doesn't this look like it'll be interesting?
She's probably Lady Berncastell's piece. Though, she will follow the rules of humans. The player is a witch. We mustn't underestimate her.
There's no problem. Even if she were a Lady Bernkastel herself, since she's a human, she's no match for us. After all, we have Garp with us. Humans certainly cannot win against Garp.
Thanks. Still, it's not a good idea to overestimate yourself. The definition of a witch doesn't only imply the ability to use magic.
True. A joker in the eye of the typhoon. That is what a witch is.
I'm the only one who gets to call herself a witch on this Rakendrima. Only I, the Golden Witch and Endless Witch Beatrice. Let's see how good Lady Burncaster's next piece is after Angie is. I intend to watch very closely.
Wait. The end?
Yep. You survived.
I did survive. It went by quicker than I thought.
Yeah, I feel like the title detective hasn't been like mentioned that much in this series. Like, you would have heard it a few times, like playing detective or detective novels or something like that.
Yeah.
In like the previous episodes,
But not as a functioning
Yeah.
piece.
so now we've got in red an actual detective on the island.
And they haven't breached the number of people, I say in quotation marks.
Well, they had it as no more than 17 on the island.
Well, wasn't it originally 18?
Yeah. But then after the fourth game, when they confirmed Kinzo was dead in red,
Yeah.
Beatrice lowered it to no more than 17 on the island.
Mm.
But now they've gone back to 18, so it's just like, what was the point?
Yeah, true.
No.